I think an organisation like AIMS in such an industry like marine surveying, which is quite a niche. It's not something that any people know about. It's good to have. I think one, it's the community for all the organisations to come together and to communicate with each other, and also to understand what's going on in the industry. And of course, as well, it's an organization to go to. So like when you've got an issue or a concern or a query or something you want to raise, that AIMS would be the first place that we would go. And I'm sure it's the same for everyone else in the industry. And updates on happenings in the industry. There's a lot going on now. There's a lot of changes. The traditional role, sort of way to go into the industry is changing now with you don't need to be a master mariner or a chief engineer or a sail now. I think that's going to be more of the future, and someone like AIMS is a great body to be able to drive that forward and help with that change. And the industry is going to evolve and it's going to change, and I think that's what AIMS is there for, to assist with that as well. Well, the key thing for us in the commercial marine surveying space, and especially being based in Western Australia, has definitely been the introduction of the AGSA scheme in 2023, I think, 1st of July 2023. That was a massive change for us industry. And it obviously, AIMS were given the responsibility delegated under DAF to look after that program and enforce the scheme. It's worked really well, and it's just given like a really good framework of understanding what that role is, what are the requirements of the role, how to get accredited from the role, legislating the role, overseeing the role, having somewhere to go with queries, things like that. It's really changed the game, especially when the AO program first came into force. And then obviously before the AGSA scheme, it was just kind of a grandfathering thing of people have been doing the FTL and got reaccredited stuff. But when the AGSA scheme came in, it just changed everything. It just gave, this is the framework now, this is what needs to be done. Understanding the roles and relationships between the AOs and the FTL surveyors through AGSA. And that was obviously all done through AIMS, and it's obviously an annual thing, and that's been huge for us in our company. I would say that's the thing that's affected us most. And then secondly, of course, just generally the conferences, the communication, the updates, the other seminars and things that go on. They're useful as well to us. And the good thing is there's lots of different ones. So you might find one that you go, yep, that's really useful to us. And then someone who's in another part of the industry might go, oh, that one's really useful to us. So that's great as well for learning new things across information sharing as well. But definitely, if I was going to say, had a real impact on our company, I would have to say commercially and in the industry in general would be the AGSA scheme. And that might not be the same for everyone. That's because we're in the commercial marine surveying space. And we're based in WA, which is a big grain state. So you'd probably get a different answer from different people. But for our company, I would say that would be the big thing. Just leading back to my first answer, I think obviously one of the key things for the future of AIMS is the industry is changing. And you're going to see less and less people who've sailed on vessels, less master mariners, less people who have come from that background. And it's going to be opening more and more up to people who have just got an interest in the industry and want to come in industry. And that's going to be, I think, really big. And it's continuing to grow for AIMS with your diplomas and your programs, which allow people who are interested in the industry, not necessarily come from a background of sailing, to actually get into the industry, get the qualifications and do the job. And I think that's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger with the AIMS diploma, the AGSA scheme. If you do your one on your module on grain in the diploma, then you can qualify for the AGSA scheme and all things like that. I think that's going to be big. I mean, obviously AIMS is great as for the industry in terms of having being like an overreaching body and obviously a community, but I can see that just getting a bigger and bigger thing as we move forward. And you'll be seeing it yourself now. There's a lot of people working in the industry now, and I'm sure your enrollment for your diploma, we've got, I think, 2 or 3 guys doing it, and 2 guys have gone through. It's just going to keep growing, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It just shows that you don't necessarily have to spend 20 years at sea to become a marine surveyor, and you can, if you've got an interest and you don't want a 9 to 5, you want to do something different, you can get into the industry and you can become a marine surveyor. And I just think that's just going to just keep growing, and that's a great thing. And AIMS are at the forefront of that, providing that those qualifications if you want them.